According to American author and speaker John C. Maxwell, people change for four primary reasons. They hurt enough that they have to, see enough that they are inspired to, learn enough that they want to, or receive enough support that they are able to. When it comes to today's guest, Terry, and how he changed his life, I think it's fair to say that all four were true. My name is Matthew Pierre, and as you'll soon hear, Terry came from a rough place, and Terry was true to the place that he came from. But at some point, Terry wanted to change. Although unsure what a better life looked like, he could not deny the disillusionment he felt with the life he was living. Despite his rough beginnings, Terry is an exceptional member of his community today. He helps run a social services organization that provides food, resources, and community to people in recovery from addiction, mental illness, homelessness, and even loneliness. As you'll hear, his transformation is inspiring, and I feel lucky to know him. So, how would you like to be called? Terry? Just Terry?
You can call me whatever. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And, so now...
Do you like Matthew or Matt?
Well, when I got sober this last time, I switched to Matthew. Just
Okay.
It's more of a,
Yeah.
one of those things. But, I mean, Terry, I think, I find you an impressive man. And I don't just say that to puff you up. I think anyone who knows you, is impressed by you. I mean, I know there's a story behind, and we'll kind of get into that. But, I mean, just a touch. You work at social services.
I do.
Yeah, you have, a real life of service,
I do.
And you're an inspiration to a lot of people, as you well know. I remember I saw... you'll post on Facebook now and then, with your mugshot, rather large relief.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
And anyone that sees it is just like, holy fuck,
Yeah.
And it suggests, just the look in your eye in that shot. It's just.
Well, some people compared to Charles Manson. They said, "Well, isn't that Charles Manson?" And I'm like, well, that's not. No, that's not Charles. That's me. There's nothing on my forehead. Except for a scar or two.
Well, it's scary. You look like you could kill a man once the lights are off. I guess before we kind of go back to the beginning, how serious of a kind of a bad person, for lack of a better word? Were you? How would you describe yourself as who you were in that picture? I
guess the best way to describe it is a man with no fear. He didn't fear anything. I didn't fear death.
Huh.
So, and a lot of times, I played a role in the community, in the outlaw community, where they would have. I would be the guy that went and did bad things to bad people. It was kind of a role I played, if people needed to toe the line, or they got out of line, I was that guy that went in there and I would
enforcer, so to speak.
Well, I would if somebody needed to be evicted out of the house, I would be the guy that walked in with a gas can and a flare.
Oh my God!
And that's the gas can was full of water, but they didn't know that.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of person and I didn't mean to play that role. It just wound up that just wound up being me. And I lived an outlaw life. It was just a way of life for me. Don't get the wrong impression. At the same time, I was a single parent with 4 kids.
Okay.
When I wasn't in jail, I was a single parent with 4 kids.
Huh. So that's and I think that really points to something. People are complicated, you can never. I think you're right. You can't really nail them down to one thing. There's so many sides of them. But I guess now that we're at that, let's start like the beginning. Where, if you were to start, where did this all begin for you?
So, I share with people that I lived. Drugs and alcohol was the way of life for me. I started drinking and using I started drinking with my grandfather and my dad
I was going to
at
ask.
10 years old.
Wait,
at 10 years old.
Are they the only ones that used or drank, or was
Well,
there more?
and they were and they I mean they held jobs. I mean they were it was a normal way of society for us. Alcohol and then by the time I was a teenager, by night I started in 1973, drinking and smoking cigarettes with my grandpappy and my dad. And it was okay so long as you did it with them and you weren't doing it outside of that. You know, there was a certain time and place for that. But by the time I was 13, by the time I was a teenager in 1976, we were doing smoking marijuana, growing marijuana, and doing all kinds of drugs. You know, speed, acid. It was kind of the end of the hippie era. So
the 70s tail off before the backlash in the 80s.
Exactly. So it's kind of a normal way of life for me, or what I thought was a normal way of life. And of course, as the years go by, I mean, that it got worse. And of course, I was always involved in that drug culture and that outlaw culture. Not necessarily because of my parents, just because that's the way it was in the suburban area of Vancouver at the time.
Oh, really? This is Vancouver?
Yeah,
I was thinking like it was Chicago or something. No, it's right
this
here.
is Vancouver. Yeah, yeah. So I think I caught my first charge when I was 15 years old, trespassing, and then of course that by the time I was 18 or 19 years old, I already picked up my first DWI. And then it was on. From there on out, it was like my license got suspended. I had a driver's license for about 6 months, and it was suspended because of whatever reason, because I didn't take care of my responsibilities in the courts. And then that just led on to a life of incarceration. And at the same time, I still managed to try to be productive in the community. I mean, I've done a lot of things. I mean, I've actually owned restaurants and bars, not in my name. Yeah. Because I couldn't put anything in my name. I was a felon, you know. But I've owned a bunch of body shops. You know, I had body shops from here to Alabama. You know, I was very successful, even though I was afflicted by addiction. So
now, was it meth?
Yeah.
Crank?
Speed.
Just speed back then.
Just would start off as speed, and then because there was no such thing as meth back then, but it went from speed to crank to meth
to crank. Okay.
To and then of course I wouldn't turn anything down, except for opiates. I really wasn't into opiates.
It's weird how that works, isn't it? It's like, I mean, it's those crank days, man. That stuff is insane. You know, you do like a little. I mean, my boss set me up with that stuff once in the office, like we were working, in one of the office towers in downtown Seattle, and it was his thing, but it's like, I mean, I did a little bump of that stuff for 3 days.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, now it's nothing like that.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Our regular routine was we would do what we call 10-day runs. We would literally be up for 10 days and then we'd shut down for a day for 24 hours and just sleep. That was normal. You know, that's what we thought was normal.
So you basically you were a businessman. So you had legit income.
I did, but I never had anything to show from it. I also had a really bad gambling addiction to go along with it.
Oh no!
Therefore, and
that's kind of a meth thing too, though, isn't it? It seems to be for a lot of people.
Probably, I think so. I think so. I think I was very complacent in my addiction, so I filled it in with weird shit like gambling, video poker and things like that. I mean, I had an insane video poker addiction. I'm talking $600 to $1,000 a day. But a lot of that wasn't legitimate either. I mean, a lot of that money wasn't made legitimately.
Okay.
I mean, I was also a professional thief. I'm not gonna. I justified it because I didn't do personal crimes. In my brain, I said, "Well, I'm not doing personal crimes. I'm doing crimes against corporations. I'm going and ripping off the PUD company for 1,000 pounds of copper."
Oh, I get you.
Know what I mean? Off of one of their trucks or some crazy, absurd thing,
Were the crimes, are they planned or were they just opportunistic?
They were planned. They were planned.
Okay.
They were carefully planned.
Huh.
But and then I'd pick up every once in a while. I'd pick up a theft charge, a theft 2 charge, and go to jail again for. All these little crimes I would do, I would never get more than 30, 60, 90 days.
That was actually my next question. Your longest time in there.
Yeah, I never spent more than 7-8 months in jail, but I did that consecutively throughout 3 decades. Mm-hmm. And some people, I used to think I would brag that I was a single parent and raised 4 kids on my own. Well, just that's not really true. I mean, when I wasn't in jail, I was in jail for 30% of the time. And that's when somebody else, a family member or somebody else was taking care of my kids. You know what I mean? So my kids are the ones that really had it rough, you know?
How many kids did you have?
I have 4 children. Four, yeah.
Okay.
Girl, boy.
So all off the same.
Yep.
Okay.
And actually, somehow, I mean, 3 out of the 4 turned out to be kind of normies. You know, my youngest is the one that follows after his dad the most, and he's getting ready to. He'll be 36 this month.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. I've got 4 adult children that are in their 30s or early 40s.
Do you have a good relationship with them?
I do. I
Really?
do. I have an amazing relationship.
Like
with
made
all of
amends kind of thing, or just never fell out? Or?
them. I've always had a good relationship with my kids.
Okay.
I mean, as good as it could be. They always took Dad for what he was worth. You know, they said Dad wasn't a bad guy; he just did bad shit. You know, so.
Yeah,
You know,
I see what you're saying. I know. I really missed out. I mean, like between like addiction, homelessness, and all the rest.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
I wasn't there for the teenage years. I mean, my daughter was maybe I think 10, and I really didn't speak with her until like 18. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, or even now, probably a little after. I mean, thanks to her mother. My former wife, I mean, she's a saint, believe me. But I mean, she never created any animosity, you know.
Yeah.
And she could have, you
Yeah.
know, but didn't. So, well, okay. So now, high school? Did you graduate high school?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you're not from there.
I did not. I did not complete 9th grade.
Yeah. And so, how did you fall in with the wrong crowd, quote unquote?
I guess because we had 2 different types of kids in school. We had jocks and we had stoners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the athletic part of it, I just never really got into it much. I mean, even though I studied martial arts and stuff like that, just for kicks, because I thought Bruce Lee was cool. But
And he was.
I didn't. Yes, and he was. I didn't really follow up with anything. I was. I found, you know, smoking pot and getting high and playing with the girls at a young age, and I was interested in that.
I have to admit, putting it that way, it sounds kind of nice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you know what? I don't regret anything I did. I had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I did. All through my adolescence and my young adulthood, I pretty much always enjoyed myself. I mean, to the point to where even in the 20 and 30th year of my addiction, I still had told myself I was having fun. You know, I thought that's because I didn't know what else to do.
No, okay, but I mean, were you looking back on it?
To be honest with you know what I share with people, and it's I got to be kind of careful who I share it with, but I didn't quit doing drugs and alcohol because I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I liked getting high and liked drinking.
Yeah.
I liked it. I always did.
Yeah.
You know, but I desperately wanted something different. I got to a point in my life where, you know what, I want a better quality of life. If I can't do it for myself, I at least owe it to the people that I care about.
Okay.
That care about me, my family. You know, I have a mother and brothers and sister, and I have nephews and nieces and my children, and grandchildren. I at least owed it to them. If I couldn't do it for myself, and I couldn't do it for myself apparently, because I told myself I was going to quit every time I got out of jail, and I've been in and out of this county jail. We stopped counting at 50 times. I literally.
You were in and out of jail 50 times?
Yeah, our county jail, I've been in and out of there at least 50 times.
Did they just save a room for you?
they all the guards knew me by name,
Yeah.
and we had a personal relationship. You know, most of the judges too.
See you when I get out, Bob.
Yeah. See you next time. And I'm like, not this time. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't. I just didn't comply. You know, as soon as I got out, I hit the ground running. Because I didn't have anything else to do. I didn't have any resources, or I didn't know about any resources. It wasn't until I made a real commitment to do my DOC or probation,
Get out papers.
to get off, just you know, to for one time just not have to look over my shoulder. You know, I made a commitment to do that, and I failed at it. Honestly, within a month, I had failed at it so miserably. I couldn't check in on time. I couldn't definitely not give them a clean UA, so I failed at it miserably. Within the first month, they had found me on a piece of property, hiding in a barn in a dilapidated motorhome,
Really?
Yeah, and that was the last time they took me. They said they took me to jail. They got at the time they had to rip off my door of my motorhome to get me out of it.
How'd they know you were there?
I actually told them. I told them where I was living at. I didn't think they'd come out and get me. They came out and a big old team of people in black clothes and black SUVs came out and got me, and they took me to jail for the last time, and they gave me new charges. They found some meth, of course, failure to comply. That all, I was looking at a 30-month prison sentence.
Oh,
I was in front of the judge, and the judge says, "Well, it looks like you're looking at 30 months is what your range is." I'm like, "Well, that's not what I had in mind." He's like, "Well, that's what that's going to be," and that's when I heard about therapeutic courts, and that's where I had the opportunity, and I got some resources to do something different, and I was willing to do whatever it took, and that's where it all started.
What year was this?
2017.
2017.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so they gave you drug court?
They gave me drug court. They gave me therapeutic courts, and
I didn't think they had it that far back, but I guess.
Oh yeah, they actually drug court goes back to like 2005, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of drug court?
I am. I'm a big fan of it because of the simple fact that they gave me a chance to do, and they gave me resources. They said, and I at the time I heard all my life, I've been listening to people do drug court, and they said, that's the people I knew would say that's a trick bag. They're just setting you up to fail, and you're going to go to prison anyhow. And that's the mindset they put into the other inmates and other people in the community that have tried it and failed.
Yeah.
You don't run into the ones that were successful because
you don't see them again.
you don't see those ones because they aren't part of your culture anymore.
Yeah.
They're not outlaws anymore. They're normal. So anyhow, long story short is that I got into drug court, and they took me from jail right to inpatient. I spent a month in inpatient.
Where at?
Lifeline.
Okay.
Lifeline Residential.
Okay. You have to go through the
I actually put myself through an inpatient program back in 1990 called Turnaround at St. Joe's. It was they actually gave me a free spot there. I was so bad. I went and put myself into the program. It was a 28-day program. I wasn't really there for what I needed to be there for, and I actually don't really remember it.
Yeah.
I really don't remember it, honestly. So this time it was different. And when I came out of Lifeline, I went straight into sober living.
Like what are you talking?
Oxford.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I'm actually still in the same Oxford house.
Really? You still live in an Oxford house? Oh my God!
Yeah.
How many years?
Yep. A little over 8 years now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. My clean date is August 6th, 2017. I went to my Oxford house October 31st, Halloween Day of 2017, and I've never left. I really like my house. We're quiet at the end of a street. Dead end street, and some of us have been there a really long time.
But it kind of revolves, though. I imagine people going in and out of there.
We do. We have some core members of our house that have been there for over 5 years.
Is there any limitation to how long you can stay in an Oxford house?
No. There was at a time they had the old saying "grow and go," because at the time they called it it wasn't considered sober living. It was called transitional housing.
Right. Yeah.
It's where you would transition through different parts of the program and then move on and move off into your own place. But for us today, in this day and time, it's hard to make ends meet. Especially, some of us.
Yeah, it's not like a freeloading thing. You are paying rent.
Yeah. We all share. We all share our expenses.
Yeah.
But none of those are paid by any government institute or nothing. The whole Oxford organization is completely self-sustainable. Mm-hmm. I mean, the house actually builds up a bank account, and everybody holds a different position, and that position is rotated in the house. So it's really productive. It's and a lot of people they're there just for their commitments, that they have to the courts and stuff. Mm-hmm. But some of us, I mean. One of our core members was there when the house opened 20 years ago. So
wow.
Yeah.
So now, I hear a lot of people that have real troubles. I mean, they relapse like something, and then within 20 minutes, the stuff's in the yard, and then how do you?
So unfortunately, that's one of the things. When you move in there, you agree to, if you relapse, you have 15 minutes to get your stuff and get out. You can come back and pick the rest. We'll store the rest of your stuff for up to 30 days. You got 30 days to come back and get it. Otherwise, we're going to take it to the local Goodwill or thrift store and give it away.
What's your opinion about that particular policy?
So that's been changed a little bit. So if we and I've seen it, we've had it happen in our house before. I've had one of our roommates come in just drunk as could be. And we're not going to send him out there. We're not going to send him out there packing his stuff in 15 minutes. We're going to say, listen, man, you need to go there. You need to go back in your room, go to sleep, and then in the morning you're going to have to go.
Yeah.
So, and that's more realistic. We also, and we've also done this. If we have a roommate that relapses and has to go back and he has to leave, we'll tell him, say, listen, man, we'll help you. If you want to, you can go into treatment. If you go into treatment, when you get out of treatment, we'll hold your room for you. And you can come back and you can get a fresh start. We try it again.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That seems different than it used to be.
So each house holds its own autonomy. Mm-hmm. That being said, there are certain parts of Oxford that is set in stone. I mean,
Yeah.
But things like that. I mean, a house will work. A house will work to support somebody. We're there to try to help people in the first place.
It's kind of a rock bottom. Like if you don't give them harsh consequences, they'll never get sober. I mean, do you believe it has to be that harsh for someone to get sober? Or
for me, I didn't have to go out and overdose, mm-hmm. or I was never forced to do this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. A lot of people they literally. I mean, but that's my reality. That's not kind of unique.
And I find it surprising about you. I mean, because often I've talked to other people and they'll have that white light moment, but that's not really the case with you. You didn't have some major conversion moment.
No epiphany for me.
I mean, I didn't really either. I was just done.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Honestly, yeah. Yep.
But I think myself, I share something with you in that. No, I really wasn't a big fan of myself at the time.
Yeah.
And doing it for myself, what wasn't going to happen. They, because it's funny because they always say that. Oh, you got to do it for yourself, or you'll never get sober.
Yeah.
But it's funny when you guys were giving me a coin at one time, and you asked me, "How'd you do it, Matt?" And I said, "Love." I could see recognition in your eyes.
Yeah.
It's that I love someone. In this case, my wife.
Yeah.
Enough. That I was willing to change. And then, of course, you got to put in the work. I mean, it changed no matter what, this or any other type of change, you got to put in the work to do it. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be day by day, commitment year after year.
Yep.
But yeah, I think you're right. And that's what I hear in you, too. You loved, there's those you loved enough that you're willing finally to change.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you said that, I'll never forget when you said that. And I've heard, and I've got to give a lot of people coins. Mm-hmm. But through my addiction, I had a really weird experience. I'm not going to lie. On my 50th birthday, I was in my active addiction. I was living on a piece of property that I was taking care of for my friend that was in prison. Mm-hmm. And I woke up on my 50th birthday, and it was still dark out. And I got up and I realized, man, it's my birthday today. I'm 50, and I really didn't believe it because of my. The history of my family. I have my father and his 8 brothers all died before they were 50 of cancer.
You bucked the curve.
So I was like, man, here I am. But my life is over with. My life is over with now. Here I am, living like this, and my life is over with, and I don't even know the meaning of life. And I want to say it was a voice or something, but in the back of my mind, I said, yes, you do. It's love. Mm-hmm. And from, I think that was the point I actually made my mind up that I really needed to do something different, that I did know the meaning of life, and whatever I have left, whether it's days or weeks or months, whatever time I have left, I need to live a better quality of life.
And I mean, you say love,
yeah.
And you say you need to live a better quality of life, and you realize it sounds like you did know the meaning of life, and you did know it all the time. That the answer is within you.
Yeah.
But I mean, how did you embody that love when you were going forward? I mean, did you have a plan? You write something down on paper, or you just each step going forward kind of thing, right?
Actually, so I realized at that time that I really wanted to do something different. I really wanted to, for the people that I care about. It still took me 3 years after that in active addiction and some major accidents. I mean, I literally, shortly after that, I fell and impaled myself. I was trying to,
What?
I felt, I was sneaking in the dark, trying to not wake up the dogs so my kids wouldn't wake up. I was actually living on a piece of property with my kids. And I tripped and I impaled myself on a piece of 1-inch rebar. Yeah. But thank God for my backbone, because that's what stopped it from going all the way through. So, and even that wasn't enough. Even that wasn't enough. I shortly after that, about a year after I finally healed up from that, after being in the trauma center for a month, after that, I had a major heart attack. And that still wasn't enough.
To what? Now we say not enough. Not enough to what?
It wasn't enough to really to figure out to do something different.
Oh, okay.
You know.
So you had the epiphany of love, but you still didn't really act it out.
I still didn't know what to do, how to deal with, how to live life differently. I just couldn't. I couldn't imagine it. You
didn't know what that looked like.
I didn't know what that looked like, and I wasn't even sure if I wanted to quit doing drugs and alcohol to do it. But it was so. It was in the Clark County Jail when I opted into drug court. The case manager that came down and screened me, and I can say her name. She's okay with it. Her name is Debbie Akers.
Okay, actually, she's kind of a.
She's been around. She's been around for a while. Yeah, she actually came to work with me. My organization, which was anyhow, that's another story. But she came in and she sat down with me. She goes, "Wow," she goes, "It was really nice to get your file. I thought all you guys were dead." And she was talking about old meth addicts, that were over 50.
Yeah.
She says, anyhow, she said, I told her, I said, listen, I just want a better quality of life. I'll do whatever it takes. She goes, okay, well, this is what you need to do. She gave me some directions. She said, try it for a year. You know what I mean? It's a 1-year program, 13-month program. Try it. If it doesn't work, you go back to what you're doing. And I'm like, well, that's pretty simple. That's pretty simple sense. So I took that to heart, and I did it. I followed her direction. And the more I did that, and other people's directions, the more I did that, the more my life changed, and changed radically. My first 6 months, I was in sober living, and I got involved. Got into a recovery coach training. I decided that what I wanted. I had some dreams. I automatically had some dreams and goals, new ones in my life. I thought I heard about recovery coach training. A mentor that I had in drug court. I'm like, I want to be like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to be like you, and then I had the opportunity to do that. And then the more I did that, the more my life changed. And after that first year, actually, it took me more than 13 months to finish drug court. It took me 22 months, and that's without a relapse. That's just because I was an old guy in a young person's program and I was bucking the system. But anyhow, long story short is by the time I graduated the program, I'd already found a career in the recovery community. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool.
I've seen that. It's like it's almost like a way to give meaning to the bullshit you've been through. It's like, and like, but what? I'll say this. What? Helping others and being of service. I mean, I think it's the key to living a life that's rewarding. And I think you find that. Even if you just stumble into it without the intention. I mean, a life of service is a life that's meaning. It just does. And like, and I can see it. I mean, in your face, Terry, just how, I mean, you seem like a man who, I think you feel like you look like someone who has really found their path, what they've always been meant to do. Do you think there's like, do you have a sense of fate, or, some people don't believe in it, but
I do. But it took me a little bit to do that, everybody.
So it didn't set in right away. Yeah.
No, I grew up in a family that was believed in God and were Christian.
Okay, so you're raised Christian. You were raised Christian?
Well, I was, but at the same time, we weren't that family. We went to church on Sundays. My dad would punish us to make us go to church on Sundays if we were bad. It's like you got to go to church for a month. I'm like, because we did something wrong.
It's a punishment.
Yeah, but I was always. Honestly, in my brain, I was always skeptical because, I'm like, I never seen no real miracles. And I asked God to help me out every time I went to jail, and he never got me out of jail. You know what I mean? But the reality was, I really found my faith in a higher power through the program, through the recovery program. When I get to do things like what we're doing today, I have a healthy relationship with people today. And I have an amazing life. I get to do things that make me feel good, and I don't need drugs or alcohol to do that. Yeah. And I didn't know that was possible. I didn't realize how much that really meant. So today we get to do things and we get to be of service, and it makes us feel good. I like helping people, and I like being part of people's lives when they can do something differently.
Well, and I think it's like, I think often when I talk to people struggling with addiction, I often mention that, I think in the group of things in your life that needs to happen, one is a life of service, and it help keep you sober, and I go, and that's kind of it, it's like, I'll even tell people, it's like, well, what about marijuana? Well, who gives a fuck about marijuana, really? I mean, whatever, that's I'm not worried about marijuana.
Yeah.
But the reason why I don't smoke marijuana is that if someone comes and asks me for help, I can, because I'm not stoned, and it's, about keeping your mind sharp so you can, so you can be of service to others. And I think it gives you a sense outside of yourself and your own sense of worth to yourself, that people are counting on you.
Exactly.
And, they expect you to show up on time. They're going to miss you if you don't. And so, yeah, I mean, I'll often recommend that. But I know something too, it's like, we were talking about how much easier life is when you're sober. It's like, I this person I work with, a coworker, and she's like, man, if people told me how much easier life was when you're sober,
Exactly.
I would have done it a long time ago.
Absolutely.
It's so much less effort living sober.
Absolutely. They're like, everybody's like, yeah, recovery is so hard. I'm like, hey, near as hard as what I was doing.
Oh,
Trust me.
Trust
me.
It took a lot of work to be that kind of drunk that I was. Jesus,
When you're out there hiding in a swamp from the police, trust me.
Or running around on meth, homeless.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of effort. It takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, it does.
But I think touch on something, and I really want to kind of drill down this too. I mean, so you mentioned higher power, but I mean, do you believe in a sentient higher power?
So I mean, I believe in Jesus, and I believe I believe in the Bible to whatever extent.
Okay.
I also believe in Buddha.
Okay. All
And
right.
I believe in any of the other. I believe in them all. My perception is there's one creator of everything.
Okay, a creative God.
I call it a creative God. God is also a good orderly direction for me. You know what I mean? And honestly, and like I said before, my relationship with my spiritual relationship in general has grown in the rooms of AA and places like the Recovery Cafe. I see it all around me.
You see his work, his miracles.
I do, and I believe in that. But that's what I had to use. For a while there, I had to use the room and the people in the room as my higher power.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of what I'm like. Well, you guys are the proof of God, that God's real. This is the proof I need. Sitting here doing a podcast with you, that's pretty godlike, if you ask me, in a lot of ways. I mean, this is something I would have never pictured before, and this is a power greater than myself. Just having these relationships and stuff today, that's what I needed. That's the miracle I needed to see, and I couldn't see that until I got in recovery.
Do you think it's possible to be successful in recovery if you don't have a sense of a higher power? Let's say if you're an atheist necessarily and don't believe in, let's say, a creator God.
So I do. So, but they do believe in something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, and I know it's possible because I see it all the time.
You do?
I
So
do.
you see a lot of examples of that?
I do.
Okay.
I actually see it in the rooms. I see it. It's funny because you'll find atheists in the 12-step rooms, and they're like, well, and a lot of people will kind of buck they say, you got to have this. You can't be an atheist because of this, or you can't be. And I'm like, they found something. They found something. Maybe it's their sobriety. Maybe that's the sobriety. But so I don't think you have to have one supreme entity or anything. I think you need to believe in something, even if you found, like, we're all children of God, right? In my eyes, we're all children of God. So that makes us godlike. So maybe in the atheist's mind, maybe that's kind of how they're rolling. They don't even know it. I don't know. I know that. It's funny because that's the biggest thing when you're in the rooms. That's the biggest thing is people have the hardest time with a higher power. Have a hard time. That's why they say things like, you can use the doorknob, but be careful, it'll turn on you.
Well, that's just silliness.
Yeah, I know it is. It truly is. It truly is. When I heard that, I'm like, that's that's for somebody that's really got somebody's really got an issue if that's where they're at.
I think you touched on it too. I think the group is your higher power.
Yeah.
And I think that's very profound in the fact that now you feel associated with a group of people. And I think when they talk about the group conscience, that God is basically, as a group, we decide who that higher power is, which is immense. It means basically saying that group, and it is our God, in that definition. And I don't know if I'd speak for certainly every atheist. I mean, I am an atheist, but it's hard to, I just kind of don't go there on most of these questions.
Yeah.
But I think many, what I find is that if you truly believe, and for me, it's kind of like, well, what happens after you die? So I don't know. But it's like, I think you can say that if you truly believe this is all there is, this one moment we have, you can almost say it's even more precious that we're good to each other. If this is all we have. So, so you can find that, but yeah, you can. But you can't deny it.
If you sit here and when you sit here and have a conversation with you, you're just as spiritual as the next guy.
Yeah,
honestly, everything that you said, the way you think, the way you believe, all resonates with me.
Yeah.
I get that. That's how I feel today, is the way you feel, and you're an atheist. I'm a whatever. I'm a whatever. So I don't even know what I really am.
I think what I see a lot of times in the rooms is people are just angry.
Yeah.
At the idea of God, or angry at God, or what it represents. I went to 12 years of Catholic school, and at times it's just downright scary,
Yeah.
But I don't know. Where do you think that anger comes from? Typically, do you think it's just abuse at the hands of someone, or do you think it's just in general?
Possibly, or they bestow that into us.
Yeah.
Or somebody has bestowed that into us. They use that as a. That's how they keep us in tow. Is by keeping us scared and angry. I don't know, honestly. I think that I do know that people get angry in the rooms when they're told that they need to be this or that. Anytime you tell somebody that they need to do this or that, then they're going to buck that. They're going to be like, no, I don't need to do that. The rooms that I participate in, they say, for those of you who would like to join us, they don't require that you do it. They don't require that you join them. And they still, and I know that my particular groups, and I know because I've seen you there before, we don't require any of that from you. You know what I mean? So, and that's what's important, is to know that you can still be part of this program, and be part of this fellowship, and not have to have those expectations on yourself. You know what I mean?
I would sort of say that, and I want to pivot to kind of like the problems with the war on drugs right now. What do you see that's going wrong out there? Being that you're so active in the community and certainly to help these people. Because it just seems like, man, it's just the drugs get worse. And I think, obviously you talk about drug courts, so that in itself seems like there's a little bit more of enlightenment, as far as like to get away from the punitive thing. But what are you seeing out there that's really bothering you?
So, you know what, the whole war on drugs, it's way out of my I don't even have all I'm interested in is productive things that will help us to battle them individually.
So,
individually. I don't
so you're
know.
talking just at the individual level, you see it, where the help is. Okay.
Yep. I know that the only things that I can see what works and what helps, and that's community and resources. But at the level of fighting it on a government level, or in that area, that's way out of my.
That's not something you don't go to Olympia.
Yeah. So but I do go to Olympia. and I ask for, and we ask for money for our programs to help support the people that, I do that part. I'm a mouthpiece, and I'll be up there this year too. In fact, I just registered, so I'll be up there talking to our politicians. But I'm not going to be talking to them about how they're gonna do their war on drugs. At my level, it's all about service work. It's all about giving people resources and opportunities to change their life and get off drugs.
What's the one thing that worries you the most out there on the street, and certainly that you think is the thing that causes you the most worry?
I don't, and I hate to say this, but I'm to a point in my life to where I don't really worry about things anymore. I don't really find myself concerned about those because I can't afford to let that take up any space in my self-consciousness. I can't worry about what's going to happen out there, or this or that. I do worry about funding. I worry about funding for our programs. I worry about losing. That's I guess I do worry about that. I do worry about losing resources for the community that the community's already had that I know are working. To lose resources like therapeutic courts. Therapeutic courts are not just drug court. It's mental health court and DUI court and veterans court. These things like this, when they're impacted, when navigation programs are impacted, and you're not being, and you can't reach that, and you can't reach the people, or you don't have the support to reach the people. That concerns me.
Yeah. So just resources then.
Yeah.
I think, dude, and I like, because I think it is one-on-one for most people. I mean, it is kind of I like the way you approach that, because it's like, because really with the war on drugs, I mean, there's so much going on.
Yeah,
there.
I'm a conspiratorial thinker. I think conspiracies, and I think it's all true. It's all real. But I also think I have no control over it, and I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
What I mean? Because I've got other things that I need to let take up that space. And whatever space I have left in my brain, which probably is limited at this point, I need to fill that with positive and productive things.
So would you say, does that come from a place of faith or experience or necessity?
I think experience and necessity would be a good. Faith is a different kind of. It's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I probably don't do it intentionally, but I connect faith with religion.
Yeah.
And I'm a very non-religious person. Mm-hmm. That being said, I'm a very non-religious person. I have no particular faith base, honestly. Even though I say I grew up in a Christian background, and my communities, the larger percentage is probably Christian, and I have a lot of I know a lot of Christians in my recovery that are my recovery brothers and sisters. Yeah. But I'm not. You won't see me at church with them.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. You know what I mean?
All right. Do you believe in abstinence only, or do you think it's possible for someone after experience really hitting bottom like that could come to some sort of moderation?
So I also I work with people that are into harm reduction.
Mm-hmm. I guess
there are people.
I guess that's what we're talking about,
I know of people, and I don't associate with them because they influence people too much. I know people that have a better quality of life, and they've learned to be moderate. Mm-hmm. That's not part of my recovery because
mine either. I know that.
I have to practice abstinence. I got what I have today because I'm abstinent from all drugs and alcohol, and all mind-altering substances. Mm-hmm. But I know lots of people that, and I also believe I believe in many different pathways. Mm-hmm. I mean.
So you think it's legitimate then?
Absolutely. Okay. So I know people that are very successful and that have a very good quality of life, and they have a cannabis recovery.
The California Sober, I think I've heard of.
Yeah. So
what made you decide that abstinence only was your
because I found my way here through therapeutic courts, and therapeutic courts required you to be abstinent.
Oh yeah, they do that.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's not worth it. It's not for me to continue to do what I'm doing, where I'm at. Today I found a career in this community. Yeah. Which I never planned on, and I never even applied for. Mm-hmm. But I mean, today they have me. My title at Peace Health is I'm an addiction specialist, a community healthcare worker, and an addiction specialist. Mm-hmm. And they've got a couple of different names for me, you know what I mean? And that's what I get to do today. I don't believe I can do that honestly, and not be abstinent. And like you said earlier, you touched on bases on it a little bit. I want to have a clear mind, as clear as I can be. And if I put something else in my system, I mean, even if it's part-time or even if it's constructively in the evenings I'm not clear. That takes away some of my clarity.
It does, yeah. It's like, I mean, it is. It's kind of like the idea, like, kind of the Buddhist pursuit where, you if you are to make sure you don't add suffering to the world, you need to keep it sharp. Not
Yes.
fog your mind and
Yeah.
perhaps make a bad decision that can cause
Absolutely.
harm to others.
Yeah.
But man, we live in an absence-only culture. Legal
Yeah.
systems, the Oxford houses, the treatment
Yeah.
centers. I mean, you can't even get insurance. You can't get insurance to pay for a California sober.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
They're not going to pay the bill.
Yeah, they're not. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
It's like, but
Yeah.
but yeah. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, Terry. I mean, I find you an inspiration, and you are just, you're just such a force in this in our community here.
Wow, thank you.
I mean, it's like, I'm really excited to get you here. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's really nice to be here, actually. I've never done this before.
Yeah.
Like this, I do this a lot, but not in a podcast. I'm not. So to be able to share like this, and in the end, I mean, we have a lot in common. We think a lot alike at every level, and I mean, as far as I don't realize that as much now that I have the chance to sit down and talk with you, really talk with you for this short time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, me and Matthew got a lot in common. We think a lot alike.
Well, and then maybe I need to get a motorcycle now so we can go.
Well, listen, I got no problem. I got 5 of them on my.
You have 5 of them? Oh, no.
I got 5 on my patio.
Oh no!
I guess that's why I like my Oxford house, because my roommates actually let me have 5 motorcycles. I got 5 custom choppers on the porch. You know what I mean?
Oh my God! But you ever ran with any motorcycle gangs or?
So I'm not gonna lie. I probably have. I've got an open guest pass in all the clubhouses.
Oh, you
I mean,
can
there's not.
walk in
I don't know
anytime.
about a clubhouse I can't walk into, and they're very respectful. And the guys are always very respectful.
Yeah.
I just could never commit myself to that type of a commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the clubs. I support them. I support all the clubs.
All right, I know I'd get on a bike ride. Probably come us out. I really do.
No, I think you'd do fine.
Yeah, really.
I think you'd do fine. We'll start on a trike.
All right. No, I have ridden.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you'd be fine. You'd be fine. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, Terry, I mean, I feel like we've covered a lot really quick.
Yeah, we have. We've had.
I mean, is there things that you want to say? I mean, if there's anything you wanted to leave for others.
Honestly, if you want a better quality of life, reach out to somebody that has that better quality of life and find out how they got it, and then try it yourself. I mean, there are no limits. I really believe that. I mean, of course, there are no realistic limits.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that you're going to quit shit and go be the president. I mean, you can think of all you want to, but and maybe you'll be the president of some company. But I mean, be realistic. If you just want a better quality of life, you want to have simple things like healthy relationships. Maybe some kind of a career. Then there's a way to have that, and there's not one way.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of ways. And if you can't find that, make your own way. As long as it's healthy and productive, find somebody that can give you the tools you need to do that, and do it.
Well, all right, Terry. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add before you go?
Just thank you very much for having me.
Oh my God, my pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks so
appreciate
much.
it.
All right.
Yeah. You have a good day.
You too. I hope you enjoyed our podcast today. My name is Matthew the Peer. I hope you join us next time.